I think we have the last session overshot this one by something like 5 minutes. Obviously, no issues there. So that will cut into the duration that we have for discussion here. Welcome, Professor Kancha Ilaiah, to this session, which would be mostly an interaction between you and me and more with the audience, given the time constraint that we have. First of all, about the theme, being a Dalit in India. I find two issues with this session. One, the person who has been picked, me, for this conversation with Professor Kancha Ilaiah. Basically because I'm a caste Hindu. Whatever I might say, my understanding of the Dalit life, Dalit situation, being a Dalit in India, is circumscribed by the way that I have lived. I have looked at life, the way I have practiced life in the many senses of the term. Secondly, being a Dalit in India, I believe can be approached in two ways. One, possibly we can approach it in terms of the experience of being a Dalit in India, about the lived life of a Dalit in India, like what Sharan Kumar Limbale in his celebrated Akramashi did, or others have done in their writing, autobiographical writing, even in Kerala, like Koche, whom we all call Kochetan. Or otherwise we can look at it in terms of the idea of a Dalit, looking at it in terms of the agency of a Dalit, the visibility of a Dalit, the way in which a Dalit has or has not played a role in Indian politics, society and life. And I think in that sense, I think this session and its title needs to be problematized. I wish to begin this, of course, with the fear of prolonging Professor Ilaiah's intervention by one more minute. I wish to give you an example about my own experience of being a caste Hindu and my interactivity in the so-called progressive state of Kerala with the Dalit individual. When I was doing my pre-degree immediately after the emergency in 1976-77, we had the first college union elections after the emergency. The emergency had not been lifted, it was about to be lifted. This was March. So by January you decide to go in for the elections. I was picked up to be, as a candidate of the Students' Federation of India, I was picked up to be the chairman candidate. My comrades in the Students' Federation of India then raised this question, why he? Why he? What is it that qualifies him above us? Honestly, I must tell you, friends, I didn't understand the meaning of that question. I went to the senior mentors of the left party, which possibly guides the Students' Federation of India. I went and asked him, comrade, tell me the difference between me and them. He said, there is no difference. You're all comrades. But looking back and looking self-critically about my situation, their situation, and what I learned subsequently through my reading and observation, I think they were right in raising that question. And that is why I said the choice of me as the kind of conversationalist for you, I think is misplaced. I want you to answer this question. The lived life of the Dalit and the way in which the Dalit life is increasingly and persistently, pushed to the space of invisibility all through the history of India. I want you to comment on that.
Well, being a Dalit in India today is in some ways is different from being a Dalit earlier. particularly before BJP kind of political party came to power. Now, what is being a Dalit today at this juncture where a Hindu nationalist force is ruling this country? My explanation would be, being a Dalit in India today is exactly like being a buffalo in India. What is this? You know, buffalo gives all our milk. Maybe Kerala is not drinking so much of buffalo milk, but the rest of the country drinks buffalo milk. But that buffalo is not a sacred animal in the government definition, whereas cow is a sacred animal.
Yes.
Cow is a protectional animal by law.
By constitution.
Therefore, the whole lynching, atrocities, and attacks on Dalits, apart from Muslims and other beef eaters, takes place around the cow, but actually which is feeding India with its milk is buffalo. Now, what is Dalit relationship to this? If even the Hindutva forces carefully examine the contribution of labor power to the production of the basic structure of the nation, or what even the ruling dispensation calls development of their own thing, Dalits would be the most contributing population in terms of productivity. But they are the most targeted people in terms of their food culture, in terms of their existential resources, in terms of the kind of attacks that are taking place. Now, why is this? At one level, they say that, we are venerating Ambedkar as much as anybody else. And in fact, they are saying, we are venerating Ambedkar more than communists. We are venerating Ambedkar more than Congress. And of course, they would not say that we are venerating Ambedkar more than Dalits or Prakash Ambedkar, his own grandson or so, or whatever it is. But the question is, I have not seen in my conscious life of 50 years, I am 65 now, a conscious targeted attack on Dalits. Why is this? They say that Ambedkar is our symbol also, Ambedkar is our theoretician, Ambedkar is the foundation of our democratic constitution. Even the BJP repeatedly says this. RSS says this. But why attacks on them? Now, the reason is very simple. The reason is, I think Kerala is more significant in that, if not in the buffalo symbolism that I was trying to project. The reason is that the Hindutva forces think that Dalits cannot be taken into the fold of Hinduism as a religion as the Shudras are being taken. Take for example the Nayars of Kerala. The Nayars of Kerala who should have a more conflicting existence with Hindu Brahmanism, or more friendly with it, or more appear to be part of it in spite of the Sambandham relations that they had historically. This is not true of other Shudras. Now, the Shudras from Lingayas, Nayars, Menans, Reddys, Kapus, Patels, Jats, down to many Sudra castes, the occupational castes, the Hindutva forces think that today they are not looking at other religion as an alternative. as much as Dalits are doing. Now, though they venerate Ambedkar, Ambedkar has shown Buddhism as an alternative to Maharashtra, UP and so on now. So much Buddhism is not growing in the south, but Christianity is growing in the south among the Dalits more faster than in any other part of the world among similar focused population. So the Hindutva forces fear that Dalits are going to change the composition of Hinduism. Therefore, they should be controlled. Their food culture, for example, Dalits, apart from Kerala, most of the South Indian Dalits, Kerala, beef is a common food for many, but in the rest of the South, only Dalits and tribals and a section of OBCs eat beef. And they equate this with the Muslim and Christian culture. Many Sudras don't do this. OBCs don't do. For example, I come from a shepherd caste, therefore I added my last name shepherd in English because I wanted to tell the word, where do I come from? So they think that the OBCs and the rest of the Shudras today or tomorrow will be part of the Brahmanic Hinduism without questioning. Now, quite tragically, even the most educated Shudras, including the most English educated Nayars, did not emerge as philosophers who questioned the Brahmanic tradition from Vedic to present. Where is a place for Nayars or Sudras in Vedas? Where is a place for them in Ramayana and Mahabharata? Where is a place for them in the temples today? Can they become temple priests in any major Hindu temple? Now your chief minister has included some Dalits as priests, but not elsewhere, not even Sudras. The Kammas, the richest Andhra Sudra upper caste, the Reddys, cannot become priests in the Tirupati temple. And they accept Brahmanism as a condition of spiritual existence. Now this is the most tragic part of the largest number of people. Now after Ambedkar, Dalits realized either we will be equal with the Brahmin or we will go out. Now that is where the challenge came. And that is where today Hindutva on the one side says we are with Ambedkar, on the other side focus on Dalits, keep on attacking, whether it is Una. You know, there is a recent book came from America by a Telugu Dalit girl called Sujata Gidla. I don't know how many audience heard about this book called Ants Among Elephants. Oh. This is the most popular book in the world today, which is shaking them. She said, I am a Dalit untouchable, and its subtitle is An Untouchable Family and the Modern Making of the Modern India. She says, I am a Dalit, I am a Christian, and because I am a Christian and Dalit, I am seen doubly untouchable. And I am untouchable even among the entire NRIs in USA, entire NRIs in UK. And there she says, I am as equal as I am equal to the African Americans. Therefore, I don't engage with Sudra upper caste or Brahminic upper caste in America also.
Let me just intervene for a moment. The experience of the Christian Dalit in Kerala is not entirely different. The Christian Dalit in Kerala is not seen as an equal by the upper class Christians, the Syrian Christians, and other denominations of the Christian church. And even in the case of, the question of reservations, which is a very important issue here, even on the question of reservation, justice has still not been done to them. That is the truth even in Kerala.
No, in fact, what happened is very interesting. In Kerala in 52 AD, the first movers into Christianity were Nambudris themselves, because the eldest son was getting married within. The younger ones were not getting. So many of them in protest joined Christianity. And today I find, after the entire major attack of the Baniya community on me, after I wrote Post Hindu India, I found in Kerala there are no Baniyas.
No.
The Christians, upper caste Christians who embraced Christianity became Baniyas here, the business leading community. Now, the Nayars and the Menons kind of groups, which enjoyed the early English education because of Christian missionary, have no love lost so much for Christianity as much as they have love for Hinduism, which oppressed them for several centuries. Therefore, the question today is that, sorry. Therefore, the question today is the predicament of Dalit, while being not only untouchable, while being not only propertyless, while being not only allowed to take up business, not only allowed to enter into the temple as much as an OBC can enter, is that should they look at their nationalism question as a transformative agent or not? As an agent who can get into some other religion, as Ambedkar said, into Buddhism, or as they did in the South into Christianity, or into whatever they like, or they should fight in alliance with the others. Now this is the question. They have an alliance with the backward classes who have no philosophical basis at all.
Yeah.
The most tragic part of a nation of this size, with a population of this size, is the OBCs have no single philosopher who is equivalent to that of Ambedkar. Mahatma Phule is not that kind of a philosopher. I come from an OBC background with doing lot of work in the whole caste system itself. But even my work cannot be considered to be the philosophical foundational changing work which can challenge the entire spiritual philosophical structure of Hinduism that created caste. Now, I was looking at the Kerala upper caste, Sudras, but they miserably failed because they got the early English education, they got the international exposure, and most tragically, I read the other day Shashi Tharoor's Why I Am a Hindu, which is exactly opposite to why I am not a Hindu.
I wanted to ask you that question.
And in that book, in the first chapter itself, I don't see a single Shudra character in his entire life.
Yeah.
I see only Brahman life in it. Now, what is great if a Brahman is saying I am a Hindu? If a Shudra is saying I am a Hindu and he would really philosophically explain it, that's meaning.
Yeah, that's precisely the question. In 1995, you wrote Why I Am Not a Hindu. In 2017-18, Shashi Tharoor writes Why I Am a Hindu. And he tries to justify, even I see justifies. He thinks, he possibly, in the course of the book, as one goes through the book, he goes through the various Vedas, the Shrutis and all that. And he says these are all good things about it. But the way it has been practiced, the way it has been interpreted, the way it has been used, like for instance, he speaks about the cow, how it became a sacred animal, how it has been in the constitution, it has been given a special place as a kind of a compromise, very evidently. And he speaks about all that. But at the same time, he actually defends the kind of Hindu practice with which he has grown up. He doesn't interrogate the Hindu practice.
No, in the very first chapter, when he introduces his father, nowhere he mentions he tilled the land, he looked after cattle, he harvested crop. He starts saying, when my father went to the bathroom and came out with a wet cloth and started worshipping gods and goddesses, from Rigveda to present, this is not Shudra life. The Shudra life, obviously I thought Shashi Tharoor does not know India at all. Shashi Tharoor does not know Indian productive life at all.
Yeah.
Shashi Tharoor only knows the Indian Brahmin Baniya life. And somebody told me that is what he would be after he goes to UN. Nothing else. UN is only that. Because outside India, the tragedy is on the contrary, you read Sujata's Ants Among Elephants. She graphically describes her uncle, K.G. Satyamurthy, who actually laid the foundation of Maoist movement, came from the Dalit background, and in order to shake the whole system, to liberate Dalits, his unstated thing was his experience of untouchability, his experience of casteism within the communist movement, his experience of man-woman relations here among Dalits and among the upper caste. He thought that only a Marxist Maoist revolution is the solution. He went underground and fought and finally put that agenda before the Maoist party. But the Maoist party did not accept caste agenda. So he came out. Now, look at the way how Shashi Tharoor understands, how Sujata Gidla understands the question of India, the question of nation. Now, does Tharoor or the Hindutva, I club both of them, do they think that a nation can exist without production? Do they think that God operates in the world without linking to production? Does God operate without linking to shoemaking, pot making, catching fish? Does God operate without harvesting crop? Did God operate that way anywhere in the world? Now, why is a Shudra like Shashi Tharoor is roaming around only a God image who has only weapons? And what that image did to Shudras? Can Shashi Tharoor show me there is a Shudra acceptable with any Nambudri who is not only a priest in Kerala, but a Nambudri is also priest in Parshupati temple in Nepal? Can his relatives go and become priests there or here? Can they become? Can audience tell me? Cannot. So they don't understand what is a religion like Hinduism, how the existing practice, the textuality, the interpretation, the philosophizing has gone against the very basic ethic of religious structure itself. Now, therefore, Dalits are important. Dalits today, after Ambedkar came, since he examined multifaceted life of this country and Buddhism as religion, I was amused yesterday when Prime Minister, talking the opposition, was saying there was democracy in ancient India. Yeah. And you know what he was mentioning? He was not mentioning a single democratic practice from Hindu source. He was mentioning about the Buddhist practice of democracy source, and which I established in my book called God as Political Philosopher. The Sanghas had voting system. The Sanghas had democracy. The Lichavi tribe had democratic practice. He was mentioning that. But where is democracy in Hindu structure? So the question is, Dalits today, I have a hope after reading Sujata Gidla's book, which I just reviewed to Indian Express Delhi. The moment Dalit women who got highly educated like her in IIT Madras and went to America, saw the world, saw the black situation, really studied the religions all over the world. Once they come out with their books, Indian situation is radically going to change. It is Dalit writers who are going to transform the basic structure of this country in future, particularly women.
Yeah, coming to that particular point, Dalit writing, there is always this tendency to look at Dalit writing as being mostly about experience of being a Dalit. But Dalit writing has gone further away from there. Dalit writing is capable of today looking at the kind of democracy in which we live, the kind of liberty without equality that we have, and the kind of political trajectories that are opening up out there. And I think the kind of, probably after the emergence of a person like, of stature like Baba Sahib Ambedkar, probably after a gap as well, I think we are for the first time seeing that kind of intellectual understanding of life and looking at life beyond the experience.
No, Gauridasan, the question is, both the most theoretical group of India are communists. It were the communist intellectuals who examined the methodologies how to. And earlier to that, there were these liberals. But when I wrote my first essay in Economic and Political Weekly, Experience as Framework of Debate and Theory, then I wrote Why I Am Not a Hindu, based on experience, but experience is elevated to the level of theory. Now, this was not seen by the Indian communist writers as well as the liberal democratic writers as a necessary methodology of repositioning knowledge. But what they did not understand is, they have acknowledged the feminist writing based on experience.
Yeah.
See, this is the duplicity.
Okay.
The feminists said personal is political and kitchen work is social work. They said man-woman relationship in the bedroom is a public domain relationship. And the whole world accepted. The Europe accepted. Therefore, whether it is the left or the liberal, even now the Hindutva forces, for them what becomes acceptable in Europe and America becomes theoretical. But what originated in India is not theoretical. So they are not nationalists to me. Mahatma Phule and Gautam Buddha evolved indigenous theoretical formulation. Now I am writing a novel. You know about whom? It is about Harappa, who built the first city of India in Indus Valley. Was Harappa a man or not? Where did the name come? In entire South, Appa is a name of lower caste. Nijalingappa, Virappa Moili, all Appas. And there was Appa in Indus Valley who built a city, and that name culture disappeared there because Islam occupied that area. Therefore, all other names came in. But my own caste god was a historically shepherd called Birappa. Who is Birappa? Birappa was a grandson of Harappa who built Harappa city. This is my inference. And the question is, they were saying for Dalits and Shudras, there is no theoretical connectivity in the pre-Vedic period to the Harappa culture. Now we are doing it. And the Harappa culture is the culture of building cities. Harappa, first major city in the entire Asia, even before Mesopotamia, Mohenjo-daro, and Dholavira city. The Aryans came and destroyed all those cities. So the Indo-Africans were builders of cities who were the heritages of Dalits and OBCs. And the Aryans, who were heritages of Brahmanic forces, were destroyers. There is no city built in the entire Vedic period. Let them show me one city which entire Vedic period built. No city at all. And again cities came only when Buddhism came. There was no city at all. So we were builders. You are also builder. You are an Nair, no?
Yeah.
Don't go away from us.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you were a Sudra. You are builder with us. Today, Gauri.
But in Kerala's historical experience, Nairs have never done any hard work. We have been standing by the side and watching the Dalits do the work.
No, No, this is only recent, Gauri Das. Look at the history of Sudras. From the day of literary existence of Shudras in the Buddhist Pitakas and Suttas. I did my PhD on Gautam Buddha's thought in the contemporary period literature itself. Shudras, including Nayars in South India or Kerala, to Patels, Jats, Lingayas, Vakalingayas, Reddys, Kammas were slaves. You did agriculture till the other day. Only in the recent past, you became close to Brahmanism and became feudal.
Correct.
And stand by looking at the agrarian work done by the others. But today look at Kerala. Kerala is only state where people tell me, I must verify, Dasan is here, my friends are here. Kerala people, except Dalits, don't do road cleaning work and hotel work. The labor is migrating from outside.
Yeah.
The most lowest labor is coming from outside. The Kerala is becoming alienated from physical labor.
Yes.
You are going to Saudi, you are going to all other states, but the physical labor is coming from. So like that, you have gone into Brahmanism. You have gone into feudalism. Now you must come back with theory and become friends. And only Kerala Sudras can teach us how to eat beef because we have given up.
Yeah.
And Nayars still hold that culture. And I come from full meat eating culture. I keep telling that I am so small, I am so weak, but my brain works. Why? Because I ate a lot of goat brains in my childhood. So because of that it works. And my people gave up beef, therefore they are not philosophers. In order to become philosophers, they should eat beef.
That's
because
an interesting.
The whole West ate beef, became great philosophers. All Indian thinkers, you name anybody, unless they quote some Westerner, there is no credibility at all. I said, nonsense. You quote Kancha Ilaiah, there will be credibility tomorrow. You quote Sujata Gidla, there will be. You quote Ambedkar, you quote Pule. But they think that if you quote Kancha Ilaiah, I will not get a PhD. Because the supervisor does not agree because their brain is dead. Unless good food is eaten and hard work is done in the field. See, what is Dalit? Dalit is productivity and creativity.
Now, Professor Ilaiah, let me come back to the contemporary political social situation today. You spoke about the capability, the emerging capability or the established capability of to theorize life situations, lived life. What we see today around us in the height of, at the height of the Hindutva forces, what we see today is there is this, particularly when the Gujarat elections happened, the entire India, anti-Hindutva political segment, they were looking at the Dalit Bahujans to deliver. After Yuna, after Kailaji, after all those experiences. Now, here is a situation for the first time. Dalits are being given a certain kind of capability of action. And in the Gujarat elections, what we saw was even calculations being made purely in terms of the kind of votes they would deliver, the kind of blow they would give to the Hindutva forces. That it did not work the way in which people calculated is another matter. But today we look at Mevani, we look at all those youngsters who have come onto the scene and who are very powerfully articulating the position of the Dalit Bahujan. And for the first time, probably after the adoption of the constitution, we see a certain kind of agency at work here. What was happening earlier? Why did the agency did not work earlier? And why is it working now? And is it working right? And how is it going to work tomorrow?
No, Gauridasan, in my view, it is good that BJP is ruling now. Why? The communists and the liberal democrats within the Congress and other political parties did not allow the religious ideological debates to really conflict with one another. Wherever the world transformed from bad to good, from good to better, when the worst rulers were really ruling. And the left went on from 1925 till today. They did not debate the structure of Hinduism in their theory at all. And unfortunately, they thought that this is the only way of doing theorization. And what Dalits are doing today is only identity theorization. No, absolute wrong. And the Congress kind of liberal Democrats, in the name of secularism and democracy, they avoided religion discourse. But avoiding religious discourse destroyed the lives of millions of Dalits OBCs. And today it came straight confrontational. And in the confrontational, people may die. But people create new thought and struggles become very sharp. Why is BJP saying that our Prime Minister is OBC? No communist is saying our Chief Minister will be OBC. Your Chief Minister is an OBC. He is an Edava. But they don't recognize his caste background. Narendra Modi keeps on saying, I am an OBC. Not only that, he keeps on saying, I am chaiwala. He also now keeps on saying, I will become pakodawala. Now my question is, both being chaiwala, pakodawala is not tilling land OBC. That is a business OBC. Business OBC is not original OBC. In North India, Banias became backward classes in Bihar and Gujarat in order to use the backward class identity to come to power. Yeah. The left and the Congress, tomorrow let CPM say that we will put an OBC for Prime Minister candidate from Delhi. 20% OBC intellectuals and masses will turn to CPM. I will tell you in one go. But they will not say. They think that their theory will be polluted. See, this pollution is not Congress. Why is Rahul Gandhi, whom I know very well, earlier never talked about his caste background, today is saying that I am a Brahmin? You know the reason? There is a severe conflict between Brahmins and Banias in BJP. And the Brahmins are looking towards some other space. And Congress wants to take them out.
Or could it be in the RSS?
No. Even RSS is in crisis on caste issues. Do you think that RSS accepted Narendra Modi's identity of OBC so easily? They had to gaze the question of capturing power first. And their original idea was to remove reservation, having captured power. But having come as an OBC, they cannot remove now. So there is an internal conflict. So my question is, they never assessed the role of OBCs in electoral politics. They only assessed Muslim role earlier, Dalit role later. They never assessed OBC's role. Today OBCs are very conscious. That is what Siddaramaiah caught. That is what communists in Kerala internally understood. And you know, CPM main theoretician is not Sitaram Yechuri. It is Prakash Karat. Right? Prakash Karat is now talking about caste alliances. Now looking at, see, the Telangana CPM party has now worked out a strategy called Bahujan Left Forum.
Alliance, yeah.
Front. Bahujan Left Front.
Yeah.
I am now part of their mass mobilization of all castes into. So they are now putting Phule Ambedkar marks on their entire banners. Now this, if only they were to do after 1977, by now CPM would have come to power. They did not. Yeah. So BJP is more intelligent. And I don't wish away a religious debate and transform the society. Secularism is not transforming things. Secularism is status quoist. Secularism is status quoist. Unless you debate religion, how do you transform? So therefore, when BJP is in power, we would like to confront it. And that is where in Una in Gujarat, Mevani emerges. Mevani, a youth, emerges with a theoretical base. And Rohit Vemula comes. Even though he commits suicide, he shakes the whole world. Therefore, and Sujata comes out our book. So when BJP in power, you can see Brahmanism and Banyaism. When I said Banyas are social smugglers, they are very angry at me. And they wanted to literally lynch me. And they have put several cases. Now, social smuggling theory comes when you are really ruling. Ambani, Adani, within 3 years of BJP rule, 4 lakh crores of Indian wealth is shifted from state to big industrialists. Ambani, Adani, Vedanta, Kirloskar. What is this? This is nothing but social smuggling. It's not business. The whole public sector is privatized. BJP is not talking about reservation in private sector. Communists said we are for it, but never fighting vociferously for it. Congress is not talking about it. And by next election, if the private sector reservation becomes the central issue of election, BJP will have to really crawl. Once it takes a private sector reservation, the industrialist support to BJP will go. That is the issue. And we would like to push that to the logical end. And when BJP in power, we want to take reservation in private sector. Because Congress and others will manipulate it in the name of secularism. Congress has tried. And in 2006 and 7, they asked for private sector reservation. And the industry said, no, we will not give. Today, Narendra Modi says, how do you give? So how do you give jobs? Therefore, he is giving jobs to sell pakoda. That's all. Pakoda jobs. Or chai beijing jobs. Not real jobs. Because real jobs are with Ambani. Real jobs are with Adani. Adani has become the richest within short time. Now, if communists also don't explain this in caste terms, you will fail.
You see a change of heart, you see a different trajectory in terms of their theorization and understanding?
There is. And I am told in the next, their National Congress, they are going to take a clear stand on Ambedkarism. No, I wish that communists, without talking about Dalits, work with Dalits. Puchalpalli Sundaraya spent on his entire life with Dalits, untouchable, slept within there. No BJP man did that. No BJP leader did that. No Congress leader did that. Communists did struggle with the Dalits and tribals. But unfortunately, they did not theorize Hinduism. They did not theorize Ambedkarism. They did not theorize the Shudra history. And marginal writing like R.S. Sharma and here and there came, but it was marginal. So now, if they put into theoretical engagement, now I believe that communists have the strength globally to engage with deeper theory. Now once they accept, we also would like to engage with them. We also would like to join hands with them. And Ambedkarism and Marxism will have to work collectively in order to re-examine production relations and caste. That I am hopeful.
Okay, that's a very interesting development. I wish to look at for a brief while before we go to the audience about the phenomenon of the caste wall in Kerala.
Caste war.
Caste wall, about which we read a lot these days. I just want your comment on that before we go to the audience for their comment. Because we see suddenly in Kerala, which is supposed to be very progressive, which has this general history of progressivism, liberalism, etc., suddenly we see that Dalits find that their common space, their right of way, it's all being curbed and curtailed. And we also see that their struggles for land are still unattended to, like in Chengara, like in different other places. There, even when the left is in power or the Congress is in power, their demand for their struggles for land rights are still unattended.
No, in fact, I have been saying all over the country if we need to campaign about the developmental models in the, it should be Kerala versus Gujarat. The Kerala model is the best model for the nation. The Gujarat model is the worst model. And the Kerala model is not projected by those who built the Kerala model themselves, namely the communists and the minorities. Look at Kerala model. Though communists and Congress rule alternatively, because of the larger presence of Muslims and Christians, because of the largest presence of English education and better quality education and good food culture, egalitarian food culture, the cow slaughter issue is not slaughtering Dalits here. See, my Dalit friends should also understand what is the outside situation, what is the Kerala situation. The only grumble they should have is, after OBC, Pinaraya Vijayan, there should be a Dalit in the chief ministership. The CPM or the Congress should give
the answer? Is that the answer? Making a Dalit the chief minister the answer?
See, it is a symbolic
we
answer.
Gave the nation a Dalit president.
I'll tell you, it is a symbolic answer. The question of land reforms, Kerala again is the best, better than even Bengal. Right? The land distributive pattern and the empowerment of poorest of the poor. But they did not focus around caste also there. And they did not make Dalits as the elite middle class as they could have made. Bengal was worse. I have studied Bengal model of Communist Party rule for 34 years. The Kerala model of communist pattern was much better than Bengal model. So now the question for Dalit intellectuals here is, compare your, see, Dalit population here is less, right, 7%? Yeah. And it is as much as Gujarat. Now Dalit visibility in certain spheres is far high. You know, Chilak Road as a writer is Dalit, no? BC? OBC. Chilak Road, who is the famous writer here? Convert Christian. But what is the caste background? Pulia. Yeah, he's a Dalit. He's Dalit. Dalit but convert Christian. Now, in Bengal, you... We have others. No, but he is now recognized. Okay. He is now known as one of the top writers from Kerala. There is no such writer in Bengal from Dalit background. Sure. So the question today is mutual engagement. The Dalit intellectuals must fight for Ambedkarism and Marxism coming together and engaging with ideological transformation, social transformation, philosophical transformation. Then Kerala will lead rest of the country, even on Dalit question. The ground from UP has slipped. And in Maharashtra, there is a huge battle going on after Bhima, Koregaon. The battle is very serious. But I have a feeling that Kerala Dalit intellectuals must work more rigorously in order to establish. See, unless there is a universal pattern, one Indian pattern does not explain everything. Ambedkarism is strong Indian pattern, Indian theory base. It is not identity politics. But Marxism as a welfareism is universal. You have to take universal experience and combine with the local theory that comes. Buddhism and Harappa building up city, how they built city in 3000 years BC. So we have to examine that our history and how the Vedic culture has destroyed all that. So once we the Dalit Bahujan really theorize at a grand level, we come out as a better alternative which can lead India to a level where we can challenge China. My always comparison is with China, not with Pakistan. The Pakistan comparison is left for RSS, BJP all the time. But we should compare with China and grow like China by combining Ambedkarism and Marxism. That is possible.
Let me just flag one point that you were saying. You spoke very highly about the Kerala model. Yeah, about the Kerala model. and about the potentialities that there are in Ambedkarism and Marxism coming together. But actually you are standing on its head the entire critique of the Kerala land reforms from the Dalit intellectuals when you say all that.
No, I just put 2-3 points. Look at the average lifespan of Kerala. It is 74 years. Gujarat is 67 years. Telangana is 66 only. Right? Andhra Pradesh is 68 now. And look at the lifespan of Dalits of Kerala. Lifespan of Dalits of Kerala is far higher than the lifespan of other state Dalits. We must compare that way, even tribals. Now, where did it come from? It came from the Kerala model of development. Whether it is the Christian ethic that rooted here, whether it is the Islamic, Kerala Muslim, Islam is not the same. Kerala Muslim culture is not the same like, Gujarat or Andhra Pradesh or Hyderabad. They are very mixed up Muslims with all others. The food culture, the business, the roads, the street and the restaurant is absolutely equal in many respects. I can't imagine that in Gujarat or Bengal or anywhere. So therefore, my appeal to Dalits is, you have to look at your model. See, it is bad to destroy an emerging model vis-a-vis a worst of the Indian model called Gujarat. We must place ourselves in a historical context. We should not allow Gujarat model to dominate. And Dalits also should not give that scope. Una cannot happen in Kerala at all. If my Dalit friends can say that there can be discrimination, there can be other things, but Una cannot happen. Or Karamchadu cannot happen, Chundur cannot happen. Because there is a force that can resist from all other sources, including Dalits in a big way. That is, I think, food culture. Look at, there is no difference between Dalit food culture and a Nair food culture, except Brahmins and others. They may be vegetarians.
But for a change, Professor Ilaiah, I beg to differ because I have myself seen surreptitious discrimination. I'm not saying
it will
direct
be there. It will be
discrimination.
there. Caste is there.
Yeah.
Caste is there. Untouchability is there. That is the reason why steps like put Dalits in all the temples if they want to define themselves as Hindus. And why Syrian Christians? See, the Kerala Christianity also did, Catholic Christianity did one major damage. They educated the Brahmanic upper caste in the entire country in English medium. They should have left them to their Sanskrit. Now, because the Kerala Catholics have established world-class classes, Arun Shauri, Arun Jaitley, and all BJP leaders, all anti-Dalit Congress leaders, all anti-Dalits, even communist leaders, there are anti-Dalits communists, they were all educated in Christian colleges. And they have not educated Dalits in those best English medium schools and colleges. Therefore, my fight will be, the Kerala Catholic Christians is, you close all your best colleges, open schools in the villages, so that the upper caste will not learn that good English from your colleges. We want them to learn only Sanskrit. Therefore, you know what is my slogan in Hindi? Bahujan Bacche English Pado. Brahmin Bacche Sanskrit Pado. You read only Sanskrit. That is your mother tongue. That is your national language. And if they were in Sanskrit, they would not have become Prime Minister. Narendra Modi cannot rule for a long time without English. Already we are in a bad shape in everywhere. Abroad. Yeah. So English is definite. English should be the ruling language. That is the reason why I added my name, shepherd, to my profession. And a Dalit should be a tanner, a soldier, a pot maker, a shoemaker, and every English name at the end. So that the Sanskrit name should go down. And Sudras and Nair should remove Nair You say tiller.
Maybe, yeah, maybe,
You
I don't
tiller,
know.
Yeah. Then Shashi Tharoor will change.
Thank you. That's a very interesting note. I think there is an evolving, I think the whole dialogue, if there is some value about it, it is what it shows us is that it's not a static person that was talking to us. Somebody was caught in a particular time warp in terms of theory and understanding of the Indian situation. I think here is a person who is trying to evolve with the situation. He's a person who is trying to critically look at his own idea of Indian society, about the theory that he's been pursuing. I think that is something very interesting, especially in the current context in which we live in India today. Now the floor is open. Please come up with your questions to Professor Kancha Ilaiah. Please be very brief and
I want some
the
Dalits to
point.
really take.
see
that there are some
obviously we'll
serious
have
questions.
questions on that.
Hello. Respected sir, after India got independence, as per Article 17 of the Constitution, caste has not been banned, but only untouchability has been banned. Caste is still thriving. Caste is a superpower now in every nook and corner of the country. Then, at this time also, even in this modern time of modernity and advancement and development, Dalits are being lynched, killed, beaten up, and they are what is called by the Brahmins. They are trying to what is called throughout of the country. In this context, even after 67 years of our India became a democratic country, what is the solution from your idea or from your experience? Second thing is, I think as a writer, as a Dalit activist, you have not learnt much about Kerala situation. The 1970 land reforms have not been benefited for the Dalits and tribals. Your study, I think your learning is at the micro level only, not at macro level. Even in Kerala, our Dalits and tribals do not own 1%, more than 1% of land. Their population is about 20%, but they own only 1% of land. Then I think you have to learn more, I think, about Kerala situation, especially from the perspective of the Dalits. Thank you.
Yeah, I agree with you that caste is not abolished in the Indian Constitution also. Only untouchability theoretically is abolished. The reservation system got stabilized for scheduled castes, scheduled tribes in order to create a middle class among scheduled castes and scheduled tribes. Later on the issue has come to OBCs. I'll come to that later. But the question of land reform is a very serious concern for Dalits of Kerala. I agree that you should constantly raise the question of inequality within the Kerala society in relation to the Kerala governance. At the same time, you should also compare yourself with the national situation, with other states and the Dalits in other side. It is from Kerala alone, because of the Christian background, a Dalit becomes first president of India. From Andhra Pradesh or Gujarat or Bengal, he could not have come up because there is no such sophisticated, English educated Dalits from those regions. It is from Kerala alone a first Chief Justice, Dalit Chief Justice comes. I know now he is with BJP as a governor. But you must see what is positive from this. See, don't forget the fact Christianity started here in 52 AD. And in 622, when Cheramal Perumal left his kingdom and OBC, went to Prophet Muhammad, became a Muslim, the Indian Islam started from here. Indian Islam did not start from Afghanistan, Pakistan, but it started from Kerala. So there is a transformative base from here. Therefore, caste can be abolished with two instruments, mainly in my view. One is changing the occupations radically by constantly rotating it. What I call dignity of labor, and completely changing the spiritual systems along with language structures. The Sanskrit base is a iniquitous base of language. And unfortunately, Kerala has the most profound Sanskrit base, which it should not have been. So, was there caste when Harappa built the city of Harappa? No. I am now carefully studying that. When did the caste start? It started with writing of Rigveda. And it did not come to an end till today, even after writing of Indian Constitution. Right? Now we have a long work to go. So dignity of labor, rotation of occupations, and religious equality, then society may go out of religion as the communists are expecting. Atheism is not a solution to caste. I don't know Keralites understand this. Atheism is not a solution to caste. That was tried in Tamil Nadu, but it failed. So people have to go through religion. And the Dalits of Kerala have to get to a different level of theory, different level of examining all Indian structures in terms of change and transformation and their position. Then I think a solution will come.
Other questions?
I'll be very brief. I don't want to repeat the same question because, Kancha, my friend, you have to redo the work on how land reforms adversely affected Dalits. I agree. One point I would like to raise for both of you is that what about the reservation issue which is being hotly debated in Kerala also? Kerala government is trying to introduce reservation based on the economic status of communities. Modi is also trying to do that. How would it affect the Dalit community, especially in the context the leftists are trying to woo the Ambedkarists and the Dalits all over India?
Okay, Dasan, my answer to that would be, the reservation in government sector has come to a stagnant position, whether it is Kerala or in the rest of the states and the nation. We have a common agenda to fight for reservation in private sector. And if the Kerala Dalit intellectuals who have a better status in English writing than other state Dalits, Kerala and Maharashtra. If you go to Delhi, Maharashtra Dalits are more visible and Kerala Dalits are equally visible. But if you don't engage with the private sector and the kind of, see, I am not sure the kind of socialism that is going to completely abolish private property under the communist revolution is in the sight. Capitalism is going to stay for a longer time to go. Now, within the capitalism, for creating a better middle class, even reservation is not the solution for everything. But to create a very stronger intellectual middle class who can tackle everything, a reservation in private sector has to be tackled. Secondly, do Dalits or OBCs, do they want to hang around land today? No. In Andhra Pradesh, that is not their target. When I am traveling village after village in Telangana, when I ask Dalits, the Telangana Chief Minister promised 3 acres land for landless. When I ask, do you want 3 acres land or English medium in government schools from LKG to 12th in your village? Every Dalit says, we want only English medium, not land. From LKG to 12th. Today, if Kerala Dalits think that we don't want English medium from LKG to 12th and later, but 3 acres land as promised by Chandrasekhar Rao, maybe CPM will promise, I'll tell you, with 3 acres land, you can't become an industrialist. You can't become a bureaucrat. You can't become a global citizen. Indian population is 1.3 billion. If all Dalits are educated, 50% of Indian Brahmins are abroad today. And they are greater nationalists from there. They are greater nationalists. Tomorrow, 70% of Dalits can occupy Australia, Canada, and America and Europe. A Dalit can become American president also. Why not? Can you become with 3 acres land or with English education? If you don't prioritize the modern computerized phase, hang around land, you are doomed. I know you don't clap for that. Because you don't clap for that because you want to be an agrarian farmer. I don't want Dalits to be tilling land because we tilled for 3,000 years. Let the Brahmins and Baniyas till the land. If nobody is tilling the land, let the nation starve. If nobody is tilling the land, nobody is sweeping the roads, let the nation be unclean. No, Swachh Bharat. Who should make Swachh Bharat? Let the Brahmins and Baniyas sweep the roads, make India Swachh. Why should Dalits sweep? Don't get into their trap. If you want to be a Hindu, become Tirupati priest, head priest, Tirupati temple head priest. If you want to be a Hindu, if you want to be a Christian, become the bishop who can go and become Pope of us, Pope in the Italy. Don't become small Christian. Think of a bishop who can be part of the electoral college of Pope. Don't aspire for small. Don't aspire for acre land. That's gone. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Ilaiah. Question.
Sir,
We have only
good
2-3
evening.
minutes.
Second, is there anybody else? I want some women to raise.
Yeah.
Good evening.
No, he's asking for the first time. Yeah. Please.
We have many Dalit association political parties. My question is, what are the hurdles before them to make a common platform?
No, the question is today, Dalit organizations individually, OBC organizations individually cannot destroy the caste and untouchability and cannot make Dalits, OBCs the ruling middle class. I want they should become ruling middle class. Without middle class, they can't rule. If they need to do that, Dalits must enter into communist parties and capture communist parties themselves. Why not? Because communism is global. Communism has a welfare thought for egalitarian system. You know, today, I don't know how many of you read the famous book on 1% industrialists controlling the entire world economy. It is a global communist liberal thinkers who are working out on this. Tomorrow, the post-capitalist welfareism is going to come. The post-capitalist welfare state is going to come from China, not from Europe. And in India, we Dalits and OBCs with seriously engage with Ambedkar, Marx, Phule and Gautam Buddha. We will create a theory for equally radical, egalitarian, post-capitalist society. That's possible. Imagine for that, not for small.
Any more questions? Please.
Yeah, I want girls to ask.
Please pass the mic.
You know why I want girls to ask? I am known as male sister of feminism. Male sister.
Sir, I would like to talk about the topic the question I want to ask is from the point of view of a caste Hindu who supports reservation, who supports equal rights for Dalits and OBCs and all castes. But when I tried to talk about it, when I was trying to be vocal about that, some of my Dalit friends who are very vocal about their rights and very much forefront of being activists, I felt like they are trying to silence me because saying it's their pain, they have to talk about it, we should just listen. And it just kind of confusing for me because equality, a sense of justice, maybe I can never understand what the pain they are going through. Of course, I might never be able to understand. From the point of view of sexism, I am a person who is oppressed. So I can confidently say that most of the males I know never understand what a woman is going through. Even maybe a financially well-settled woman, they will never understand how much oppression she is going through. So likewise, I might not be able to understand what a Dalit is going through.
No, you are absolutely right. What you should say to them. See, I am not a person who came from a family which is experienced untouchability like Dasan, right, here, or many of my friends. I come from a shepherd family which is not untouchable. But majority of them accepted me as their Dalit colleague because I consistently wrote about caste and untouchability. More than me, you have a better facility. You know, all women according to Ambedkar are either Shudras or Dalits. Women are untouchables during the periods, during the child production, and woman's body is untouchable for Hindu spiritual system for a longer time. Therefore, you tell them, I am by woman, I am a better Dalit than you. If a man is saying that, you are a Dalit. Your body is untouchable on many occasions within your family. Therefore, see, I keep asking in any audience, how many men, whether Dalits or OBCs or upper caste, wash their own plate after they eat? How many men wash their wives' saris or clothes in their house? How many men wash the shit of their own children? Men don't wash. Men don't wash their own children, their own wife clothes, and upper caste don't wash anything in the world. There is similarity, right? That is the question. The women must teach every child, from male child, to treat every woman equally from his sister and brother onwards. They should do homework. Every male child must be taught to wash dishes, clean the house, and wash clothes of sisters and mothers. Otherwise, India will get destroyed with indignity of labor. That is what the issue is. So you also fight. You say, I am a woman. That's what Sujata Gill, you read that book. It's a phenomenal book.
The point that she raised is that she is a caste Hindu.
She says that, Dalits don't accept upper caste as fighting for their rights because they said, let us fight for ourselves. If that is the case, I have no space. Then all of you should protest and say, why Kancha Ilaiah came here and speaking? So, but they allow me. They accept me as a Dalit because I consistently did this. And I have proved that 40 years. Why are they accepting Mahatma Phule as their symbol? Mahatma Phule is Nair. And why are they accepting Savitribai Phule as the first teacher of Dalits? Because they started that life. So even upper caste women should not talk about these issues as a tactical question. You should be fully convinced, concerned, start working for them. They will have to take you into their fold. Dalits are the greatest human beings on this earth. Upper castes are gradually dehumanized. As they go upwards, they are more dehumanized. And upper caste women, don't you think that they teach children how to teach untouchability? That's the problem. Indignity of labor, they teach their sons. No mother teaches, my son, you have to wash the dish at home. Only daughters he teaches. I want all daughters must rebel in their houses. All boys must be made to wash dishes. You should only cycle and go to shops. That's what the change should be.
More questions?
Sir,
More questions here.
You said that even the CPM can project someone from the OBC so that they can get more votes. They will be getting 20% vote share of the OBC. Then what's the difference? What would differentiate CPM from the communists from the RSS or the BJP? Then we are also promoting casteism, which is already in an ugly state in the country.
No, you must understand the fundamental question. Whether CPM wants to come to power at Delhi and change the system, particularly caste relations and labor relations, from the democratic constitutional phase as it exists today. Because don't forget, once upon a time, even now, CPM, CPI, all ML groups, their agenda is not constitutional rule. They thought that this constitution must be changed completely. Now, if you want to come to power within this constitution, you have to accept the dialectical relationship with caste. You project a Dalit for prime ministership, you come to power, work tactically on every front from power. Now, if you think that, no, electorally we don't want to come to power at Delhi because we can't handle the Western world as capitalist, we can't handle the whole world as capitalist, we should be in the regional states only. That's wrong. I am asking my communist friends, please reposition your political existence itself. That give up revolution strategy now. Come to power through democracy. In democracy, you have to use certain statistics, tactics. Now, if you put a Dalit, what is wrong? What is the merit criteria you are talking about leadership? I'll tell you, if I were to be in CPM today, by mere caste background, I would not have become Central Committee Secretary. They would have promoted some Brahmin from some corner. That is casteism. That's destroyed them. That is what made Narendra Modi Prime Minister today. If you don't understand that logic, Hindutva understand that logic, RSS understand that logic, you don't understand. And they were saying, communists speak, all communist MPs speak in parliament only in English. BJP people speak in Hindi. And others speak in English. They don't want English medium in government schools. What is working class strategy in that? Government school is working class. In Bengal they destroyed schools. So my question is, think of coming to power through electoral means as Nepal communists did. Nepal communists have done wonderful job. Both Maoists and other communists. They gave up the revolutionary path and entered into the electoral path, compromised on many things, reworked their language, and now changing their caste, you know. Nepal communists, even Prachanda declared that he is a Buddhist. He is not a Hindu. And Nepal is a more Hindu nation than this. And look at the communist leader, Maoist leader. Can Indian communists say that? I want my communist CPM friend, Sitaram Yachuri is my friend. We come from Hyderabad. And he comes from Brahmin background, I come from. Let him declare that he is a Buddhist. We will see what will happen. He won't declare. He will die tomorrow as Hindu. His body will be burnt. A Buddhist body will be buried. And I declared, I told my relatives, if I die suddenly, my body must be buried. Should not allow any Hindu practice at all. That must be conviction. What is that? Is Buddhism not Marxism? Buddhism was ancient Marxism. Please understand that. Communists did not own that tradition at all. Where is Buddha in them? Unfortunately, you left Buddha to Narendra Modi. He is taking his name all over the world. No, this is not correct in Indian tactical position today. And you have handed over the power to BJP. That is the reason why I wrote in 2002, when Narendra Modi declared that he is an OBC, he will become Prime Minister of India before any other OBC becomes. Because that's the tactical line.
Thank you very much, Professor Kancha Ilaiah. This was a wonderful session with a message. And thank you also, brothers and sisters, for your patience and your listening to this wonderful session. I think it was quite an eye-opener for me too. Thank you very much.
KLF India.